So today we will solve one problem in gear trains. You can see this figure. Here we have the system of gear train is given. That is arm A. A is the arm, and we have gear B. This is gear C, and this is gear D, and this is gear E. So according to this, the gear B meshes with gear E. We have a gear B which is meshing with gear E. Gear C is meshing with gear D. Gear C is meshing with gear D. This is the revolted gear type, the problem, that is revolted gear trains. Okay, so what is a revolted gear train? In a revolted gear train, we have a driver gear. Which will be connected to one of the gear, and that gear is a compound gear. Okay, so it will be a compound gear, and finally from the compound gear to the driven gear. Here the driver and driven will not be directly connected. Okay, so it is not will be in direct contact. So this is also one of the type of the gear. This is also a revolted gear problem and epicyclic also. Okay, epicyclic gear train. So here, which is the compound gear? DE is the compound gear. Okay, so DE is the compound gear, and gear C is the output gear. Okay, so gear C is the output gear. So now what are we supposed to do now? Okay, we have to find the speed and direction of the gear C. Find speed and direction of gear C. Okay, so for this, to determine the speed and direction of the gear C, we need to have some conditions be given. So what are those conditions? The conditions are, so when gear B is fixed, and R A makes 100 RPM clockwise direction. Okay, so this is the condition. That is when gear B is fixed and RA makes 100 RPM clockwise direction. For under these conditions, we have to find out what is the speed of the gear C. Okay, so for that some data is given. What is the data? What are the given data? We have ZB is given as 75. That is the number of teeth on gear B is 75, and number of teeth on gear C is 30. Number of teeth on gear D is 90. Okay, so with this given data, we have to find out the speed and direction of the gear C. Okay, so how to proceed further? Okay, so one data is missing, that is the number of teeth on gear E is not there. So let us find out that data, that is ZE we will find out. So how to find out ZE? With this given data, we can say that is let D be the diameter of let D be the diameter which will indicate the size of the gear. So by the given geometry, we can say that DB plus DE is equal to DC plus DD. So it is through geometry. We can say that DB, that is the diameter of B and diameter of E. Okay, since B is meshing with E. Okay, so by this by equating this sizes, that is the diameters, we can get this, that is a dB plus dE is equal to dC plus dD. we got this we arrived at this equation by knowing the geometry. Okay, that is by the given geometry. Okay, so then we have a directly that is a proportional relationship, that there is a relationship between the diameter and the number of teeth. Okay, based on that relation, that is a diameter is directly proportional to the number of teeth. Using that, we can rewrite this equation as ZB plus ZE is equal to ZC plus ZD. Okay, so now we want to determine ZE. ZE is equal to what? ZC plus ZD minus Z. Okay, so if you substitute the respective values of the number of teeth, if you are going to substitute, means you will get the number of teeth on ZE. That is already given data. If you substitute that value, finally you have to get ZE is equal to 45. Okay, so ZC is 30, ZD is 90. Altogether it will become 120, and minus ZB, that is 75. So we will get ZE is equal to 45. Now we know the value of ZE, that is equal to 45. Okay, so as I told you in how to determine the velocity ratios in the epicyclic gear train problems, it is we have two methods to determine the velocity ratios in the epicyclic gear train problems. One method is known as a tabular method, and the other method is known as a that is algebraic method. So algebraic method we are not going to use, and we can go for the tabular method to find out the velocity ratio. Okay, so we'll write the tabular. So when you write the table, you know we need to have conditions as one of the column, that is condition, and while writing the table, how to write, it is very important, table writing. That is one column will be there, that is for the conditions. Then what is the output gear we want, that is the gear number C, that is gear C is the output. The velocity ratio we want to find out the gear C, that is C. Okay, it will be the output gear. So output gear will be at the last column. Okay, so we have a arm A fixed. We will take that first, arm A. Okay, so it will be followed by the compound gear, DE, compound gear DE, compound gear DE, and gear E is meshing with gear B. Okay, gear B, and finally we have gear C. Okay, so this is how we have to write the table. So now the first row. So the condition remains same. That is, we are now finding out as if that arm A is fixed. Okay, as in the previous this one, that is how to determine the velocity ratios of gear trains. I have told there. So the same method we have to adopt here. So initially we need to find out the velocity ratio equation. So that we are considering arm A is only as fixed R. Okay. So further we will proceed with the next conditions. So here arm A is fixed. Arm A is fixed. And plus one revolution is given to compound gear DE. So we are considering what is the condition, that is arm A is fixed and we are giving +1 revolution in anti-clockwise, that is counterclockwise. Okay. So the direction of the revolution is counterclockwise in the anti-clockwise direction. So arm A is fixed. So the motion is 0 for the arm A. And compound gear we are giving +1 revolution in the counterclockwise direction. So it will be taken as +1. Okay. So because of this, so what happens to the gear B? Gear B, there will be a ratio, that is the ratio of velocity, that is a thing. It will be subjected to what type of, what is the revolution, that is the ratio, what will be the ratio. So because of this DE, which is rotating anti-clockwise plus, the gear B will be rotating because the gear B is meshing with what? Gear B is meshing with gear E. So gear B is meshing with gear E. So DE is rotating anti-clockwise. So gear B will be rotating clockwise direction. Therefore, I have taken it as negative. And what will be the ratio is, it will be ZE by ZB. This is the ratio, ZE by ZB. Okay. So next is what? We have a C, gear C. Okay, it is meshing with what? It is meshing with, gear C is meshing with gear D. Again, because of this rotation of compound gear DE, D is measured with gear C. D is measured with gear C. Therefore, here also we will get that gear C will be rotating in the clockwise direction. Therefore, it will be negative. And the ratio will be ZD by ZC. Okay, the ratio will be ZD by ZC because it is meshing with gear D. C is meshing with gear D. Okay, so this first row is completed. Next, in the second row, it is nothing but the system is multiplied with plus X revolutions again. Okay, so multiply with plus X revolution. So here we don't have anything, so if you multiply also you will get 0. So this will become plus X, and here it is minus X ZE by ZB, and here also minus X ZD by ZC. Okay, and in the third step we are going to add another revolution, that is add plus Y. Now it is in the previous step it is multiply with X, and now in the third step we are adding plus Y. So if you add plus Y to all, it will become all plus Y. Okay, you are adding plus Y to all. So and finally you will get the total motions. So this will be plus Y, and this will be X plus Y, and this will be Y minus X ZE by ZB, and this will be Y minus X ZD by ZC. So now we are determined the velocity ratios of all the things. Okay, now we have an idea of velocity ratio. Now proceeding further, now we have to look into what is the condition given. So in the problem, what is the condition given? I told you in the problem the condition was B is fixed, and uh, R is given minus 100. Okay, arm is given minus 100 means clockwise rotation. The arm is given clockwise rotation. Okay, here B is fixed. Okay, so here from the fourth row of this table, we get that y, okay, this element, okay, y minus x ze by zt. So here we have the velocity ratio. We want to determine the velocity ratio of C, but the condition is given, that is B is fixed. Okay, so we can take this equation. We can take this equation, equate it to 0. So now you can substitute all the values. So y is also given, that is this equation becomes y minus 0.6 x is equal to 0. Call this as equation 1. Okay, this is one of the condition. This is one condition, or B is fixed. So let us write the second condition, that is it makes R makes 100 RPM clockwise. Okay, so therefore y is equal to minus 100. Okay, so to take y as minus 100, then we have this equation, y is equal to minus 100. You substitute y is equal to minus 100, that is in the equation 1. Equation 1, you will get x is equal to minus 166.67. So now you got x value and you know y value. Then you substitute in this next term, that is where the velocity ratio of C is there, that is the number of teeth on the C, that is ZC is given. So that will give us this element in the table will give about the velocity ratio of gear C. So if you substitute that, you will get, see, that is y minus x zd by zc. Okay, so all the term is known, y we know, x we know, z we know, and zd is known, and zc is also known. If you substitute all these values, you will get plus 400 RPM. Okay, so this table itself will give the velocity ratios. Okay.